What's poppin'? What's good? Welcome back to the Table Talk with Toddy podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by my very own membership community, Brand You HQ. It's 2019, Q2 to be exact, and building a personal brand just got easier with this exclusive members-only sanctuary for female entrepreneurs who want the who, what, and hows to build their brands efficiently and effectively. This membership is unlike no other because it is specifically for the good women out there who want to start brands or grow brands without being overstuffed with all information and no accountability to make things happen. I especially love how affordable Brand You HQ is. At just $25 a month for founding members, you'll get access to the trainings, advice, and support you need from yours truly and from our amazing crew that you'll need to build your personal brand. To learn more about Brand You HQ, visit joinbrandyouhq.com today. Welcome to Table Talk with Toddy, a podcast for millennials where we bring real-life topics on the table for real talk. I am your host, Natasha Toddy Weston, lifestyle entrepreneur and 3 times best-selling author. I'm a sucker for business, branding, and self-development, but I created this space to escape from the worlds we create for ourselves on the daily. Table Talk with Toddy is the epitome of having the girl next door right in your back pocket. So kick back, pour up, and join me each week for real talk, current events, and powerful conversations about life, business, and all that other ish. All right, so let's hop into today's show. Welcome back. I'm so excited. If you are new to the show, my name's Natasha Toddy Weston, and I'm so excited that you have taken some time to hang out with me today. If you're an oldie, but of course a goodie, thank you so much for coming back. It is because of you that this show is still popping and still moving and shaking and doing what it do, right? So thank you so much. Before we get started in today's show, because I've got something amazing to share with you, please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. We got to get our subscribers up. We got to get our reviews up. So if you enjoyed today's episode, at the end, I'm going to ask you to not only subscribe, but to go back and leave a review. Let me know what you think about the show. I always love hearing from you guys. So thank you so much for all of the love from episode 56. That topic was permission to be off. We talked about the importance of quality versus quantity and just how important that is, especially in this day and age. So if you haven't checked out episode 56 or any of our past episodes, you can find them all at natashaweston.com/podcast. We are also on every podcasting directory around the globe, such as Apple Podcasts, formerly known as iTunes, Google Play, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, we're on TuneIn, we're on Stitcher, we're on SoundCloud. Any and everywhere that your heart desires, you can check us out. But of course, please don't forget to subscribe so that you're the first to be notified when a new show goes live. So today, I want to talk to you about uncensoring you. Now, I don't know what the topic is going to be yet as far as the title of this episode. We'll figure that out when we get there. But I'm just going to go with the flow. I woke up this morning with this on my heart. And honestly, I triggered this episode. It was something I was scrolling on Instagram and I caught myself doing something that I believe most of us do, especially in this whole social media age. So I wanted to bring that to light today because I think it was a teachable moment for myself and I want it to be a teachable moment for you guys. And y'all know the podcast is where we kick it. So that's why I wanted to share it with you all here. So there was a time when trying to change who you really were and to deliver a more polished version of you was everybody's selling point. And I'm talking more from being a creative, not necessarily even an entrepreneur. Growing up, before I think any of us got into this whole creative space where it's now more accepted to be doing the non-traditional aspects of life, we came up in an era where things needed to be polished perfectly. The more polished, the more money you would make. The more prim and proper you appeared to be, the more opportunities that came your way. So there was a time where we were taught or it was a preconceived notion that if you were a more polished version of who you are, that was your selling point, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as the information age started to boom and we started to see a rise in more authors and more speakers and more podcasters. We were just taught, or we developed this habit of feeling like, oh, everything just needs to be polished perfectly. And now, as a branding expert, obviously there is some truth to this depending on what you're talking about. I do believe that there's a difference between trying to be polished and trying to be positioned the right way. There's definitely a fine line in between the two, and it's really a fine line between being polished and putting in effort. So with anything we do in life, we need to put forth effort. So it's like, it could be something as simple as combing your hair before you run to the grocery store. That's effort, right? Because you never know who you're going to run into. So there are those instances. But overall, I believe as millennials, we have just been taught that the more polished you are, the more perfect you are. Nowadays, we're being told to be authentic because that's what sells. And now I'm noticing that even with that, people trying to push authenticity and sell authenticity, people are now polishing up their authenticity. So is it really being authentic? If you're polishing up your authenticity, saying, oh, I'm going to be who I am and I'm apologetic about it, but then you're trying to polish that up too, is that really being authentic? So that's the question that I want to propose to you all in today's show, is that, are you polishing your authenticity? Are you watering down who you are just so that it comes off as being polished? So something happened to me this morning, and if I'm being honest, it happens to me quite frequently. As someone who's worked for almost a decade to build this image of who I am and what I stand for, I sometimes find myself pulling away from some of the parts of me that I truly enjoy, even when no one's watching. And it's something as simple as maybe watching a video on Instagram and thinking that it is funny as hell and not liking it or commenting on it or sharing it with a friend because I don't want people to take it as if that's all I watch or that's who I really am. I hope you guys are following me. I am trying my best to be as genuine and as honest as possible. So this morning, I was lying in bed and I was scrolling on Instagram, and I just recently followed this guy, and I'm going to share who he is. I don't care if you guys judge me. His name is Landon Romano. Hilarious. Like, if you need a laugh, you just need a laugh. And I was scrolling, I noticed he posted a couple of funny skits. And when I clicked on the video, when you're following someone and they follow you back on Instagram, you can see, like, Instagram gives you a preview, like, liked by so-and-so. So an individual that I follow and she follows me back, someone who is top in her industry. She is nothing less than a professional. She has made strides. She's doing amazing things. I noticed she liked the video. And immediately I thought, well, if she can like the video and she's a professional, why can't I like the video and think that it's funny? And I kind of had to give myself permission to laugh. And I think in this era that we live in, we've just gotten so caught up with just being business owners and being entrepreneurs and all about our businesses and being a boss that we're forgetting to be human. We're forgetting those parts of ourselves that make us who we are. Beyond social media, beyond being a boss, beyond being this polished person online, we are forgetting about those parts of ourselves that make up our real personalities. And so this morning was just an example of how we are trying to censor who we really are. And that's where I think a lot of us are reaching stages of confusion. We don't really know who we are because we're censoring who we really are. So if you can't unleash those parts of you, then how are you really going to continue to grow as an individual? How are you really going to continue to stand apart from everything else and all of the noise that's happening online? So think about it. If you're like me, because I'm being honest, I do it. How many times have you thought something was funny, but you didn't comment on it, or you didn't put the laughing emoji on Facebook, or you didn't like the post, all because you didn't want people to think that what you like isn't cool, right? Because I'm sure there's a lot of controversy around Landon on Instagram. Some people may think that they may think what they think about him. And that doesn't take away from the fact that he did one thing that is important in life. He made me laugh. He made millions of people laugh from a 60-second Instagram post. That's the underlying reason. And I'm sure that's the why and why he does what he's doing. So he's an example of being unapologetically authentic and not even trying to package things up and being polished. And will he be this person in 10 years? Who knows? But this is a part of growth. This is a part of how we will continue to grow as individuals. So if you think it's funny, laugh. If it makes you want to cry, cry then. If it makes you want to two-step, two-step then. If it makes you want to twerk, then twerk on, sis. But stop telling yourself that you can't do the things that are authentically you. Let's take a look at Super Scent. Now, I don't know anyone who doesn't know who Super is. Now, I'll be honest, I did not follow her journey until I knew about the crayon case. That's when I learned about her. There are a lot of people who have been watching her from the very beginning of her journey. I think she is the perfect example of how to be authentically authentic and uncensored in a way that it attracts people and also repels people, but there's also a fine balance. She started as a social media personality from New Orleans, and all she did was use her social media to make her followers laugh. And she used situations from her real life experience. Like she'd get on Instagram and she just vent about stuff that was happening in her life. What did that do? People related to her. So she was not polishing up her life, packaging up who she was as this person who she really wasn't. She was simply using who she was and who she is to build relationships with people who are now her customers for the crayon case. And this is what I always talk about when I say your life is the best content you'll ever create, because it doesn't pull you away from who you genuinely are, and it gives people the opportunity to get to know you, to relate to you. And that's something that I think we all struggle with, but it's so important if you want to leave an impact. Her content was raw, was unapologetic, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. People just felt Super. Now she's gone on to create the wildly popular makeup trend or brand, the crayon case. And guess what? She's still the same authentic Super. Like if you go and read any of her comments, like I know she did BeautyCon a few weeks back. Anytime she goes somewhere, she still is that same person. Even with all the money now, even with the fame, she still remains to be the same person. And you know what the true benefit of that is? Nobody can tell Super about Super because Super knows who she is. Because who you see Super online, Super is the same person offline. I think that's a lesson that we can all pull away from. I think we need to give ourselves more permission to just take the censor off. To just take the censor off and be okay with who you really are. Seriously, to just be okay with who you really are. And this is a message for me as well, because, another thing I've been struggling with is, okay, I'm not doing a lot of the things I truly am passionate about or that I enjoy doing, like fashion, style. I love my wigs. I want to talk to y'all about hair sometimes and how I've been saving money on going to the hair salon every 2 weeks and how I've been able to build my visual brand a lot more and saving way more money than I ever have. I've been wanting to share those things with you all, but I haven't because I'm afraid like, oh, well, people just want business and branding from me and maybe I'll lose my audience or maybe this or maybe that. And I'm going to be the first to tell y'all right now, here today, y'all are hearing it right now. I'm going to stop pulling away from the things that I genuinely enjoy. Because it's those things that people will pull and gravitate towards, but you'll never know until you step out and try it. With every phase that we go through in life, it's going to come with a praise. So this means every phase that we experience in life, whether it's long-term or temporary, all of those phases are necessary to mold us into who we're supposed to become by the end of our lifetimes. Imagine if we all stayed doing the same thing we were doing at 10 years old. When you turn 30, you shouldn't still be doing the same thing you was doing at 10 years old. That's how life is supposed to be. We're supposed to evolve because with evolution is growth. And so whatever it is, I think that is who you genuinely are, show that side of you. Show that side of you. And so that's what I wanted to share with you all today. Just nothing long, straight to the point. I just want to really, I know there's a lot of talk about being authentic and just showing the real sides of who we are, but that's hard to do. That's hard to do. But I think the transformation here for all of us starts with simple exercises like simply liking a post that you think is funny. If you feel like crying, if you're watching a movie and you want to cry, don't hold back your tears because nobody else in the room is crying. Cry about it. If a song comes on and it makes you want to twerk, then twerk. That does not pull away from who you are. That does not pull away opportunities. It just makes you more of a personable person. It's just going to attract the people who are called into your life in that season. That's all it's going to do. And so our table talk takeaway for the day, and I want you guys to share this. I want you to tweet it, snap it, post it. Stop trying to censor who you really are. The unreleased version of you is where it's at. Period. Period. So that's the challenge going into this week, going into the rest of this year. Stop trying to censor who you are, sis. Take the censor off. I hope that this episode has helped you. I know it's helped me. I feel 20 pounds lighter, and I really do need to lose some weight. So I feel so relieved because this is something that I've been trying to articulate in my own mind for a while now, and now it just makes sense. It's so simple, yet it's so freaking complex. So thank you guys so much for listening to the show today. Don't forget to subscribe. Share this with someone. Share this with someone. Share this with someone. Don't be a hoarder of this information. Share it with somebody. You never know who is going to help, man. I think it's a lot of us out here censoring ourselves. Give yourself permission to take the censor off. Take the censor off. And I think it's going to change a lot of our lives. It's going to help us to be less stressed. It's going to help us to enjoy life a little bit more. And so I'm excited. Don't y'all forget to connect with me on Instagram. I have my personal Instagram, which is @officialtoddy. You can also follow the Table Talk with Toddy podcast Instagram page. But just connect with me online. Let me know what you thought about the show today. Oh, and one last thing. I am seriously thinking about doing a live podcast where I'll get about 4 or 5 women to come join me just for a real conversation. We'll maybe have cocktails, a very relaxed environment, and just kind of talk about some of the important issues that I don't believe are talked about enough. I got a few amazing women in mind from all over who I think I want to invite. So if that's something you'll be interested in, I did a poll on Instagram, and the majority of people said do it in Atlanta. So tweet me, hit me up on Instagram, let me know what you think about the whole idea. Let me know what city you're in. Let me know if you'd be interested in coming, regardless to where you are. And yeah, so I'm excited about this year, the rest of this year. Of course, y'all know I'm going to keep the episodes coming. And you may not hear from me every week, but I promise you when you hear from me, it's something genuinely from the heart and it's real. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you in the next episode.